What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick from MWK Pop, and I want to welcome you back for another episode of Extra Time. And of course, as you should know already, this is a series where we take a deeper look at some new releases. We go beyond just their promotion song and we take a look and review their album a little bit. So this time coming up, we have got the debut of a brand new girl group coming out of DSP Entertainment called April, and they are joining, of course, Kara and Rainbow as active girl groups for Rainbow. This brand new group consists of members that you would know from Baby Kara or the show Kara Project, and also a couple of former members of the now disbanded group. I guess you'd say that the name is Purity. I guess that would be kind of, but it's like pure and pretty combined. So it's, I don't know, Purity. There we go. That's it. So that group made their debut, and it is always, of course, new groups into K-pop, new blood, bringing hopefully new and different things is always exciting. So, basically we're gonna start, as always, basically with the general impression and thoughts of the entire album. And first off, you just have to know, or you should come into this album expecting that you're not going to get anything different than basically, I guess, what you would call like a bit of a bubblegum pop kind of sound. Because if you think about it, one, they're a girl group, and girl groups generally debut with something like that. They don't go, sexy or hip hop straight off. It takes them maybe their next comeback until they go that direction, or two. Until they get, to the point where they're established. And the other fact is, another thing that definitely is going to limit them to basically a cute concept for the foreseeable future is the fact that the youngest member in the group is I guess you would say, an 01-liner. She was born in 2001, which means that she is 13 years old. And that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And that whole the age of the group ranges from, of course, the youngest being 13, the oldest member of the group, whom I'm assuming is the leader, is 19, and that whole age gap is gigantic. Which, I mean, as far as like the entertainment industry is huge, and that brings up some questions for me. It's an interesting thing that you and I should be taking a look at is what exactly is that going to mean for the group, the future of the group? Because in a few years, the oldest member of the group is gonna be in her 20s, where the youngest is not even in her mid teens yet. She'll be, still 15 years old, which is basically like, I guess, the young age of your normal debut date or debut age. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see, if they break off any subunits, what the subunits are, the career progression, because, from the oldest to the youngest, they're going to be at very much different, stages in their career, as far as their age is concerned. And, not only that, but of course, technical and talent ability as well. They're going to be vastly different from point to point. So how exactly is DSP going to deal with that, and what are they going to do? I think that they can do some pretty interesting things, and it's always going to be interesting. So there you go. There's my general overview, I guess you can say, of the group itself and the album. So it's time to move into talking about the stuff that I liked and the stuff that I didn't like. And not surprisingly, but even if there aren't things I don't like, I force myself to make things I don't like, no matter how insignificant it is. Like I said, for every single album, I try and find something that I don't particularly like too much about it, because I think that it's a good, thing to be, critical of something. No matter how much you like it, it's always good to be critical. And of course, we have to, pull out the good points of something, even if I don't particularly like it. So we're bringing out just one negative thing, although it's not really negative, I guess you can say, about this album. And I have to say that for the 6 albums on this song, or the 5 songs on this album, I just got that mixed up, but the 6 songs on this album, they're very, very neutral. They aren't really anything, crazy, or, they're not taking very many risks. And that's like expected, one, because it's a debut group, two, because it's a debut group, right? So you're not trying to make a song that is going to push away, potential fans of the group. Right? You want to win as many people as you can in their debut to capture them and put them in your fan base, with your fandom, so that when you make a debut later on, you can do something a bit more adventurous, where they're more likely to actually like it. So, that is, I guess you can say the reason for that. They want to try and be, as I say, not as, they want to try and release as many songs in their first album that are not as offensive as they possibly can, which means that they don't have aspects that are a bit, out there and a bit weird and a bit, taking a small risk to try and do something that's interesting, that's going to draw people in when it may or may not fail, or when it may or may not work. So, DSP didn't do that. They didn't take any risks with the songs that they made, and they put out stuff that isn't really, something that you can hate, but it definitely isn't something that you can latch on to some part of it really too much. That is absolutely fantastic. And that's not really a good thing, ultimately speaking. It's not really a good thing. It's not really a bad thing. But for me personally, when I look at, music or an album, I want something that is a bit interesting to listen to and, has some songs that are like, what, I like what they tried with this, and whether or not it worked out, I appreciate the effort for the song. So that's what I like to see. That doesn't mean that it's a bad thing that they didn't do anything like that, because like I said, it also kind of also is a good thing at the same time. But we'll talk about that, of course, coming up in this next segment. Plenty of things that I liked about this album. And first off, we're just going to say that the fact that my, complaint, or the thing that I've chosen as what I don't like about it, isn't really a real reason to not like this album and to give this a if I grade it on a point scale to take away points, right? My reason is not a good reason. And I love that. That's fantastic. That's really good when you release an album that the only thing that I can pick out as the thing that I didn't like isn't really even a legitimate reason to not like it. So that is really awesome. And playing into that whole their songs are really safe and they're not going crazy with doing interesting things, is that these songs, not only are they not crazy, but the thing is that really makes them awesome, and is that they are just really, really well done. They are executed just perfectly. DSP and the girls in April nailed it. They hit a home run on every single song. They killed it, because even like I said, when there may or may not be something that you can particularly latch onto through maybe the first couple of listens through the songs, but they're definitely, for a couple of songs, does turn into something that you like. And I can't specifically remember which song it is, but I do know that there was one song on the album where just the cadence of, I think it is the chorus, or maybe it's the verse or something like that, just the cadence, the way that the vocals flow for that is fantastic. I love it. It sounds fantastic, but it's not something that I picked up the first time I listened to it, because it's not really that obvious. But that's one of those things where it's kind of something that just kind of goes to show how just well produced this entire album and well performed the entire album is, from DSP's end, who for putting together the songs, or getting these songs and putting this album together, and then the girls in April for performing and singing all of these songs and just absolutely killing it. And I made back when, and another thing too, I guess you can say, which is this thing, is we're gonna make a comparison against a very, very, very well-known group who does cute concepts for their entire career, and if they change, K-pop might end. But when I did my music video reaction, I compared them to Lovelyz, but Lovelyz isn't really a proper comparison. I guess Lovelyz in the music video style is a proper comparison a little bit, but I really feel that this is more, that April is more like a much, much, much younger APink. I get that feeling, and especially with I think it's track number 2 on the album, which I can't remember the name of the song. I'm drawing a blank, but the song is like, I listened to it and I was like, oh my god, this is like APink. I love it. It's fantastic. It's really good. Like, APink are, they're in their mid-20s. They're, at this point, a veteran group. They're established. They've been a veteran group for many, many years at this point. And April is coming in, and they're like, hey, APink, we're gonna do basically your thing, and but we're younger, so we're gonna have a bit of a younger and more childish sound to it. And I love that, because there isn't any other group in K-pop that really does that has consistently stuck with that cute concept that APink has. And, you know, APink does it, but they bring, you know, that grown woman feel to it, whereas April can't because they're not at that age and point in their life yet. And it's really nice to bring, you know, to have a, you know, really well done, well executed, you know, cute and a bit adorable style done by younger girls as opposed to grown women. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm really hoping this is not coming across as creepy. But you know, I hope you do understand that there are different sounds and, you know, just overall, you know, appearances and stuff like that that go along with it. So, you know, I think April is a younger version of APink, which is great just because of the fact that their age difference, or, you know, their, I guess, development as human beings puts them in different points and gives them different sounds and different visual appearances. And I really do like that whole contrast, but I do have to stay still. Like I said, it's younger APink and I absolutely love it. So there you go. That's my breakdown of this album. You know, what I liked, what I didn't like, which wasn't really something that I didn't like, but it was something I forced myself to say I didn't like. And, you know, my general overview of the entire album and what you can expect to hear. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, or you have any thoughts about this album in general, put them down in the comment box below. Also, get connected with me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to support me to go full-time on YouTube, you can support me by becoming a patron on Patreon. There's all kinds of cool things for you guys to get out of it as well. So check the description box below to links to my Patreon and social media accounts. It will be super, super awesome. So as always, I'm going to thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.